Hi, my name is Lance Ackerman. I am a water conservation specialist with Colorado Springs Utilities. Thank you for viewing our sod and seed installation webinar series. Today I'm going to be talking to you about things that you need to prepare for sod and seed installation. Some considerations before you install your sod or your seed. Sod is best for high traffic areas. Avoid areas with extreme slopes and consider using seed or native seed in areas that will receive less foot traffic and areas that have extreme slopes. The number one reason for sod or seed failure is a poor irrigation system or inadequate watering. It is extremely important for the new sod to be watered adequately in order for rooting to establish. You need to consider what type of landscaping currently exists where you plan to install the sod. Is it an old lawn? How does the old lawn need to be removed? Are there rocks and landscape fabric existing? Plan ahead on best methods to remove existing landscape, whether it's mechanical or chemical means. What are the existing soil conditions like? Is the area highly compacted? Tilling to relieve compaction may be necessary in order to provide oxygen to the roots. Clay has a high moisture holding capacity but has a low infiltration rate. Sand, on the other hand, has a low moisture holding capacity and a high infiltration rate. Understanding some of these items before you install your sod or your seed will set you up for best success. Next, you need to have a checklist of tools and tasks to take care of prior to installing your sod. The number one thing you need to do is call 811 3 business days prior to any project starting. You'll need a tiller, a hard rake, a sod or utility knife, and potentially a sod roller. A hard rake, or preferably a landscape grading rake, will be needed in order to properly level the area. A sod knife or utility knife will be needed to make cuts around edges and sprinkler heads. A sod roller to ensure sod is making contact with ground, especially at the seams and edges. Sod installations that are established with an automatic irrigation system will need an establishment permit to allow watering more frequently than 3 days per week and during the middle of the day. An establishment permit will provide a successful way to water your new plants, trees, and sod. You can apply online at csu.org/waterwiserules or email estp@csu.org. This image here is a tile that you will need to click on in order to apply for the establishment permit.
My name is Catherine Moravec, and I'm a Senior Water Conservation Specialist with Colorado Springs Utilities. In this section, I'll be sharing with you the importance of preparing the soil when installing sod or grass seed. Our native soils here in the Pikes Peak region can be a variety of textures. In some areas, you'll find rocky soils, and in other areas, sandy soils, and in other areas, mostly clay soils. But all of these native soils are naturally low in organic matter, containing only 1 to 2% organic matter. They tend to be low in nitrogen, but they are rarely low in other nutrients that plants need. The best way to improve our native soils to grow plants well is by adding a soil amendment. What is a soil amendment? A soil amendment is simply a material that is high in organic matter, like compost or aged manure. Soil amendments are typically made out of decomposed plants, manure, or plant-based waste products. Soil amendments are intended to be mixed into the soil so they can improve the soil properties. There are 2 reasons why it's so important to add soil amendments before you plant. First, they help improve the amount of moisture held in the soil between watering, therefore allowing you to water less often. Second, soil amendments help improve drainage, water infiltration, and the amount of nutrients that the soil is able to hold. The bottom line is that non-native plants, like sod and turfgrass seed, grow better in soils that have been amended. These soil amendments work so well that they are required to be eligible for an establishment permit. The reason for this is that soil amendments are one of the best ways to make high water use lawn areas more water-wise. If you're planting sod, turfgrass seed, or non-native seed mixes like many low-grow mixes, Adding a soil amendment to your soil before you install the seed or sod is required to be eligible for the establishment permit. You can find a list of approved soil amendment materials at csu.org/waterwise rules. You'll need to add 4 cubic yards of soil amendment per 1,000 square feet of area that you plan to plant. Be sure to till the soil amendment into the soil where possible.